You hear some pretty outrageous things on TV during the week, especially in this day and age. Take a look at Joy Behar on The View, reacting to what turned out to be fake breaking news reported by ABC.
ABC News' Brian Ross is reporting Michael Flynn promised full cooperation to the Mueller team and is prepared to testify that as a candidate, Donald Trump directed him to make contact with the Russians. Yes! He goes to jail, he goes to jail, he goes to jail. Lock him up! Lock them up! On election night, I had to wear a veil. I was in mourning. So this is like the antithesis of that hideous night. And that's why I'm happy.
But that bit of so-called news wasn't exactly true, as we've been reporting tonight. But regardless of that, it's just another example of misinformation coming from the liberal left. Joining me now to talk about that and more is Michael Tomero, host of In the Foxlight. Good evening, Michael.
Hello, Jeanine. Well, you are on fuego tonight.
What is your take of Joy Behar? You know, he goes to jail, dancing about this.
I mean, tossing around the cards and the whole thing. I mean, hats off to Robert Mueller for one thing. He actually got Joy Behar to live up to her first name. I mean, have you ever met someone more or less joyful in your life? And she's just such an angry person on a daily basis, and there she is, cheering on what could be a constitutional crisis, tossing around index cards like Rip Taylor on the Gong Show, although I have to say Rip Taylor had a better mustache than Joy. I mean, it's really the height of irresponsibility in my mind.
Okay, all right. And now I want to call for another sound. Joe Scarborough, I want you to take a listen to this outrageous comment.
We are facing a showdown with a nuclear power, and you have somebody inside the White House that the New York Daily News says is mentally unfit, that people close to him say is mentally unfit, that people close to him during the campaign told me had early stages of dementia.
Hit it, Michael.
You know, the thing about Joe Scarborough is he's one of those guys who thinks he knows everything about everything and everyone, but he's really the master of nothing. And should a guy who sort of styles himself as a cross between Dilbert and the Muppet Beaker really be calling into question the president's mental health? You know, this has been sort of a steady drumbeat with him on his show, calling for the cabinet to invoke the 25th Amendment. Really, another person, another media elitist calling for a constitutional crisis. I call into question some of the standards of NBC News on this sort of thing. But then again, I mean, they also did not air Ronan Farrow's piece on Harvey Weinstein, so,
And, you know, I'll tell you, the fact that he quotes the Daily News. He says the Daily News says that Donald Trump is mentally unfit. Well, that's the end of it. From now on, in all criminal cases across courtrooms in this country, they shouldn't call in psychiatrists to say if someone's mentally unfit. They should just call 1-800 the Daily News. They shouldn't waste their money. You know? All right. And what about finally, what do you think about Brian Ross's reporting, you know, saying that Michael Flynn has actually is going to testify against Donald Trump? I mean, forget about Joy Behar's reaction, but the actual reporting by one of the most, you know, trophied investigative reporters on television today.
You know, Jeanine, we're making light. We're having a little fun with some of this stuff, but this is not funny stuff. These are very serious issues, and our freedom is incumbent on the media getting it right. Democracy demands that we in the media get it right, and they all, Brian Ross, Joy Behar, Joe Scarborough, all of them have to act in a more responsible way than we've seen.
You know, and the shame of it is, as I said, Michael, with my last guest, DeRoy Murdoch, I mean, when that, you know, false reporting came out that Flynn was going to be testifying against the president, you know, based upon a claim that he was directed to contact Russia during the campaign as opposed to when he was president, or in the transition, which is perfectly legitimate, the Dow suffered a 350-point drop. I mean, this is serious serious stuff, and it's not just about the hatred of the left toward the right.
No, well, words matter, whether they be printed or spoken. And look, journalism is not for the lazy. You know, journalism requires a lot of work. You got to check your sources, and it's not for zealots.
All right. Michael Tamaro, thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
All right. And we'll be right back.